TV7 Israel News is made possible thanks to your generous donations. Shalom, good evening. This is TV7 Israel News broadcast to you from Jerusalem. And in today's top stories, Jerusalem asserts its determination to deal a devastating blow to any terror entity or state actor seeking to harm Israel. Hezbollah Deputy Secretary General Naim Qassem claims his Iranian proxy is ready to confront Israel as the IDF chief okays plans for a ground maneuver. The United States voices concern over prospects of an Iranian strike against Israel. Israel is successfully changing the strategic composition of the Middle East as the Islamic Republic of Iran and its regional proxies sustain devastating blows on all fronts. The most dramatic development over the weekend occurred on Friday evening while Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu was addressing the 79th session of the United Nations General Assembly in New York.
I didn't intend to come here this year. My country is at war, fighting for its life. But after I heard the lies and slanders leveled at my country by many of the speakers at this podium, I decided to come here and set the record straight.
While asserting Israel's genuine aspirations for peace with its neighbors, Premier Netanyahu proclaimed that Israel can no longer accept the 11 months of blatant attacks by the Lebanese Iranian proxy Hezbollah against Israel's northern communities, pledging to remove this threat and return Israel's citizens to their homes safely.
Well, I've come here today to say enough is enough. We won't rest until our citizens can return safely to their homes. We will not accept a terror army perched on our northern border, able to perpetrate another October 7th style massacre. As long as Hezbollah chooses the path of war, Israel has no choice, and Israel has every right to remove this threat and return our citizens to their homes safely. And that's exactly what we're doing.
While delivering his speech, the IDF launched an operation as part of which dozens of Israeli aircraft targeted Hezbollah's headquarters in the Dahya neighborhood of Beirut, essentially wiping out the majority of Hezbollah's leadership, including no other than Hezbollah Secretary General Hassan Nasrallah.
Shortly before Shabbat, we conducted a precise strike, eliminating Hezbollah's leader, Hassan Nasrallah. This took place in Hezbollah's underground headquarters in the heart of Beirut, along with other senior officials in the terrorist organization.
IDF Chief of General Staff Lieutenant General Herzi Halevi, who concluded a situational assessment at Northern Command and the approval of offensive plans moving forward, further highlighted that the Israeli public should brace itself for difficult days ahead.
I have just completed a situational assessment and approved plans in the Northern Command. Challenging days await us. The IDF is at peak readiness, both in defense and offense, across all fronts, and is prepared for what comes next. We are determined to continue destroying the Hezbollah terrorist organization and to keep fighting. We have more missions ahead on all fronts, destroying terrorist organizations and their capabilities, returning our hostages. The mission is constantly before our eyes, as well as the safe return of the residents in the north and south to their homes.
General Halevi also seized the opportunity to highlight the fact that later this week, on Saturday, we will mark a year since the Islamist Hamas launched its heinous crimes upon Israel, declaring war by perpetrating a massacre, murdering over 1,200 mostly Israeli civilians, and kidnapping some 250 people, of whom 101, to include a 1-year-old toddler, his 4-year-old brother, and their mother, who hold dual Israeli-German nationality, remain in Hamas captivity to date.
This week, the year comes to an end, a year where IDF commanders and soldiers fight bravely and work to put an end to the hardships of the past. The IDF stands with the bereaved families. We will continue to honor the path of the fallen. With the fighting spirit and resilience of the entire nation, the IDF will continue to safeguard our security.
Meanwhile, as Hezbollah continues to sustain devastating blows, the Iranian proxy Ansar Allah, which is dominated by the Houthi tribe in Yemen, launched a ballistic missile at the direction of Tel Aviv's Ben Gurion International Airport, while Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu was returning to Israel from New York. Thankfully, the incoming projectile was successfully intercepted by Israel's surface-to-air arrow system, causing no injuries or damage. Less than a day after the attack, however, Israel launched an extensive intelligence-based aerial operation in which dozens of Israeli Air Force aircraft struck military targets belonging to the so-called Houthis in Yemen's Ras Isa and Hodeidah areas, causing extensive damage. Subsequently, during a visit at the Israeli Air Force headquarters, Defense Minister Yoav Gallant highlighted Jerusalem's determination to confront anyone who attacks Israel's sovereignty and citizens.
The conclusion is clear. Whoever tries to attack us or to harm the citizens of Israel will pay a very heavy price. We mean it. And the screens that you see here, only a few can see. Nevertheless, the TV screens, the entire world views, and everyone understands clearly what the meaning is of attacking the state of Israel. We have no interest in widening the war. We have no interest in looking for additional fronts. However, if anyone attacks Israel, as was recently done by the Houthis by missiles, and throughout the entire war by UAVs, ballistic and cruise missiles, we will settle scores with whoever conducts such an action. We know how to do this in parallel to other things. On this day, the Air Force and the IDF also attacked in Lebanon and in Gaza, and also here, we showcased that we can operate in additional places.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, in a televised address to the citizens of Israel, proclaimed Jerusalem's determination to alter the strategic composition of the Middle East, in which peace would once again prevail over Iran's belligerent schemes.
We are at the height of a war on 7 fronts. We crushed Hamas in Gaza and we eliminated the majority of its commanders. We struck Hezbollah with force. We eliminated Nasrallah, and we are systemically eliminating Hezbollah's chain of command, including an additional elimination that we conducted today in Lebanon. In tandem, roughly an hour ago, the IDF struck the Houthi enemy in Yemen. Everyone can see the distance, everyone can see the targets, everyone sees the fire, and everyone can see the price that we exact from all those who attack us. As is written in the Bible, I pursued my enemies and overtook them.
Earlier today, in an undisclosed location in Lebanon, Hezbollah's Deputy Secretary General Naim Qassem, in a first address since Hassan Nasrallah was eliminated, pledged to continue fighting Israel, irrespective of the devastating blows which they continue to absorb.
Hezbollah will continue with its goals and their presence in the field. The command system and the Mujahideen will continue following with your plan, O Secretary, with the same precision and the steps you have drawn up.
With reports of a looming ground maneuver into Lebanon, Qassem proclaimed further that Hezbollah is ready for any attack.
We will face any possible attack, and we are ready. If the Israelis decide to enter by land, the resistance forces are ready for a ground engagement. We have prepared and got ready, and with our trust in God Almighty, we are confident that the Israeli enemy will not achieve its goals, and we will emerge victorious from this battle.
وسنخرج منتصرين من هذه المعركة.
It is important to know that both senior military sources and Western officials have told TV7 that while the IDF is keen on launching a ground maneuver into Lebanon to confront Hezbollah, the United States has warned Israel against it. One official stressed that while the IDF prepared for a decisive maneuver, the Biden administration fears it would lead to an all-out regional war. And while threats by Iran to launch an attack against Israel persist, the United States has warned the Islamic Republic that Israel would retaliate with force. Nevertheless, Washington remains concerned that the Iranians may miscalculate.
Well, their rhetoric certainly suggests they're going to try to do something. I mean, just coming out of Tehran, but we don't really know. We're watching this very, very closely to see how, if and how, Hezbollah and or Iran may react, as well as the militia groups in Iraq and Syria. We have to be prepared for some sort of response. We have to make sure that we are ready, and we are. We believe we have the force capability we need in the region, but it's not clear right now. Too soon to know.
Thank you for watching TV7 Israel News. I would like to encourage you, pray for the peace of Jerusalem and salvation of Israel. I'm Jonathan Hessen, wishing you a Shavua Mevorach, and God willing, we'll see you during our next update. Until then, Shalom from Jerusalem.